We are live, sir.
Call to order. Time is 6:04 p.m. Wednesday, August 24th, 2022. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance using the flag.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins.
Here.
Vice Mayor DeVille will not be attending tonight. Mayor Jacobs,
Here.
we have a meeting. If we could make changes, sir, we're just looking to bring forth, in the areas of presentation, if we can bring forth, item Item 14.2, yes, sir. If we can start with 14.2. And I believe other than that, there's no other changes unless the commission has some changes.
18.1.
Okay.
Charter review.
18.
No. I'll make a motion to accept the agenda.
It's fine. It's, you really don't have
Not
to.
a meeting, so.
No, it's okay.
Presentation 14.2. Public Services Director, 52nd Avenue sinkhole repair.
Good afternoon. Robert Clark, Public Services Director for the town of Pembroke Park. Thank you very much, Mayor Jacobs and Commissioner Hawkins. It was brought to my attention that we had some challenges going on in Southwest 52nd Street. I'm sorry, Southwest 52nd Avenue. And it was an indentation that we found in front of one of the apartment complexes. So rather than go through it from a layman's perspective, I have enlisted the expertise of Mr. Carlos Morales from Keith and Associates, so he'll go through his presentation. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Commissioners. Good evening, town members. Was brought up to our attention at Keith through Mr. Clark that on Southwest 52nd Avenue between 36 and the 3700 block, there is a sinkhole or an indentation that's been happening for a number of years. Mr. Steve Williams, which is our Vice President of Engineering, is not able to be here tonight. He did a site visit last week on Monday to take a look at the problem and start to figure out what is the cause of the problem, why the problem is occurring, how to come with a quick solution to be able to remove, to be able to solve the problem, to not have the problem. So the first thing it was to determine the sinkhole location. Again, it's in 52nd Avenue between 3600 and 3700 block. It's an issue that the town has been seeing since 2017, right? We did a little bit of history back checking. We talked to the town staff to see when repairs were made, when it started reoccurring, why did it reoccur, what repairs were made, and all that. So I'm going to give you a little brief history with images from Google Earth to show you that in 2016, same intersection did not have any issues. There we go. Sorry. Then in 2017, you see already a circle or small depression occurring. 2018, there was some work done to repair the exfiltration trench that runs across, and there's a bigger patchwork. And now in 2022, it has been repaired again, but the problem keeps reoccurring. So we started digging deeper. We're starting to see what underground utilities are there that may be causing the problem. And this is 2021, sorry. So the existing utilities that are there, there is all the way at the bottom, the little dashed lines on the image right there, is a 10-inch VC vitrified clay pipe that was installed back in '99. And then these plans that you see here were done from a previous firm, and those are exfiltration trench was installed on the edge of the pipe. So the center line of the pipe is probably right at the edge of the exfiltration trench. These plans were done in 2007 and 2008. So by the time it was finished constructed, it was probably around 2010. In 2018, there was a failure. The sinkhole started appearing, so the town went ahead and fixed it. Before they fixed it, they called out a company to TV the storm water line, and there was a failure in the storm water line, so they decided to repair it. That failure on the storm water line probably occurred because the vitrified clay is a very brittle pipe, so it has a lot of infiltration issues. Infiltration is groundwater going into the sewage pipe, right? So as you can see, the town TV'd the sewer pipe in 2020, and as you can see water gushing into the pipe by several locations. Some of them are laterals, but on the third picture, bottom to the right, you can see a big crack. That big crack, we believe it was due to the repair that was made to the exfiltration trench. To repair the exfiltration trench, you need to drive down piles. So by driving down the piles, it probably drove it too far, hit the sanitary and cracked the sanitary. How does infiltration affect the soils to be able to hold the road, to not create a sinkhole? Well, infiltration, what ends up happening, the sands, the smaller sands, go with the water inside the sewer pipe, and the sands leave the area where it's been compacted. So all the soil around the sewer pipe has been softened, and there's no real stability there. So when the town saw this in 2020, they did a repair. They lined the pipes to avoid any more infiltration to the sewer line, which these are the pictures of the pipe itself repaired. Once this was done, the repair was done, and the pipe put in service and TV'd again, you can see that there's a dip in the pipe where the location of the sinkhole is, which means that even though the pipe is already repaired and it's not leaking anymore, it's not infiltrating anymore, the soil has already been affected enough that it's already has a sag on the line. This will not affect your sewage will still flow properly, but this means that since you don't have stable soil around that area, it's going to always keep settling until it eventually finds a solution, right? Again, this is the conclusions, which is what I've been talking about, just on a brief written way. I drew an image with the plans showing where the location is, the sinkhole location on the plan itself, and the greens is our proposed solution. Our proposed solution for this event, for this issue, is to pressure grout around the pipe and under the exfiltration trench to stabilize the soil. Pressure grouting is a system. You're pretty much pumping concrete around the pipe and under the exfiltration, so you stabilize the soil. The system is pumped through equipment, and this type of services can be done through different companies that can do the work at night. So the recommendations for solution for resolving the issue are first, grout around the pipe, under the pipe, and on the exfiltration grout that area. That way we stabilize the soil. Once the soil is stabilized, redig the sinkhole area all the way down to the top of trench of exfiltration, which is where the gravel is, put a new layer of Mirify fabric on it, and rebuild your cross-section for the road so that so it's stabilized and you do not have any more issues. That's pretty much it. Any questions?
I'm trying to avoid putting another Band-Aid on this since this has been a problem since before I was even here.
2006, 2017, I think is when it shows on the images when the issue starts.
I went through this. I just want to make sure this isn't going to happen again. You think this is a permanent fix?
Yeah, it's a permanent fix. The soil will not settle anymore because you're putting pressure grout, which is concrete, pretty much, layman's terms, and it will suffice to hold everything. It will be a better repair than just relooking at the pipe. The other recommendation that we have is since there is already sag again on the road, to TV the stormwater pipe just in case it's already broken again. We don't know that. It's already shifted again before the work is done. There are several companies that do this type of work. They charge by the pound of grout, and you have to pay a minimum for the amount of grout. And then the other cost that would be involved with this would be the road, the new section of road restoration, right? I've talked to a couple of companies, and you're looking for about $15 per pound of grout. The minimum companies usually allow you to use is between $500, $600, 500 to 600 pounds. So I had a couple of companies look at it really quick. We only had a few days to do this, and they told me that an estimate would be around 900 to 1,000 pounds for the area. Again, they looked at it just a regular traditional method, which is going up in steps and filling it in. We will not be doing that because we're so close to the exfiltration, so we'll be going up sewer exfiltration to stabilize that area, so the amount of grout probably used will be less than the stipulated.
Think they'll give any kind of guarantees? No way, right?
Nobody know. I don't think anybody will give guarantees for that. So, it's a sound.
I know it's a sound method.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to have a concrete. You're technically putting a concrete slab under it. So, if it settles, it's way deeper than what we're looking at.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, once you dig that out, then we'll actually know that, right? Once it's dug out.
Well, remember when you do the pressure grout, it's only through like a 2 to 4 inch hole, so you really cannot see anything. We will be able to see once we dig out the portion on top of the trench to rebuild the road. We'll be able to see if there's any issues with the Mirify fabric, with the filter fabric that was supposed to be located in there. But we're putting a new piece to avoid the sands to keep filtering in, if that's the case.
Yeah, it should be wrapped anyway, right?
It should be wrapped. But they did the repair, and when they do the repair, did they rewrap it properly? Did they leave anything open?
Yeah.
You never know.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Yep.
So you're saying the pipe sagging?
The sewer pipe sags, yes. The sewer pipe sags. It does not preclude from sewage flow moving forward. The only main issue with the sag is that you have settlements there, and you will have to maintain it a little bit more than usual maintenance on the sewer pipe. The sewer pipe is perfectly lined from the TV, so I do not see any issues with the lining on the pipe.
We may see continued sinking, though.
I'm sorry?
I said we may see continued sinking in that area, though.
Once we put the grout around it, we will not see continuous.
Should be good,
sinking.
yeah.
So it should not sag anymore. Again, if there's sag after if we do the repair this way, it means the problem is
Deeper.
way deeper than that. So, and if it's deeper than that, there's nothing you can do. And well, we need to pump deeper. That will be the only way to really fix it, or we need to look at other solutions.
So how can we tell if it is deeper or not before going forward with this?
We'd have to do some type of exploration. We don't think is deeper than that. Usually we'll hit lime rock before we get deeper. We do think that because of all the infiltration that had happened before with the system, that's what's causing the issue. All the soils in that area are completely and utterly soft. We don't. Agreed.
Have to do it again.
I don't believe that will happen. Again, South Florida, it's eventually we hit the rock bed, so there's so much sagging you can do at the end of the day. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for your time.
So, gentlemen, where we are with this is that I requested $100,000 as to be afforded from our approval authority increase from the $25,000 emergency that we had already been authorized to increase that to $100,000. So, therefore, in these issues where we have sinkholes and emergencies, I'd be able to act faster because to corral a variety of different companies and do the investigations and set all these things into motion. When it comes down to it, it just $25,000. We spent $30,000 on just one motor. It will not, by estimations, cost that much, but in the event that we do have the same issue or a similar issue involving the town, we'll be able to act more promptly. So I'm requesting from the commission approval authority increase from $25,000 to $100,000 in emergency cases, following the procurement process and going through JC and everyone involved.
The code does allow for emergency purchases
I'm
already.
just gonna say absolutely not. We have emergency programs to follow when we need an emergency, but I will not put my name on $100,000 that's hanging out.
Okay.
This,
We have policies and procedures to follow when
there's an emergency. For this particular case, I think maybe in this particular case, allow for us to start proceeding with this to fix this one. And then if anything else ever comes up, we take it on a case-by-case basis and on an emergency basis. And there's a section in the code that allows for that, so.
we have an emergency plan in place where we can have an emergency meeting if need be. And we have approval, I do believe, in emergency situations.
Yeah, well, I can take care of the emergency and then come to you guys after the fact.
So that's the procedure that we need to continue to follow here in the county.
Is that it?
Is that all for 14?
Yes, sir.
Or 14-2?
42. Thank you.
Before we continue with, is there any other presentations? Are there any other presentations?
The ones that we have are in between in our standard meeting.
Before going any further, I'm going to take a point of privilege for rules of conduct for the meetings. If you want to speak, you will need to raise your hand. I will make note that you want to speak, and then I will call upon you when the time is appropriate. If you speak out of turn at any one time, you will be warned the first time. The second time, you will be asked to leave. It's the only way we're going to keep the meetings flowing and flowing properly. So that's what I'm going to stick with for every meeting going forward. So I don't have to discuss it again. Everyone is well aware now. Next will be reports and reports of committees and city staff. 6.1, Broward Sheriff's Office.
Good evening, Mayor Jacobs, Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins. Lieutenant Charles, Broward Sheriff's Office, thank you for the opportunity to allow me to present the stats to you on the Commission. During the month of July, we had a total of 657 calls for service. We had 55 accidents, and we issued 55 citations. Total arrests were 13 for an assorted variety of charges. With regards to the mobile homes parks, we've had 3 incidents, 1 auto theft at Holiday Park. We had a burglary conveyance at Lakeshore, and we had a residential burglary at Trinity Towers. Regarding incidents, we had 17 total incidents, 2 auto thefts, 1 burglary business, 8 burglary conveyances, 1 burglary residence. We had 4 theft, and 1 theft of motor vehicle parts. And if you look at the final page on my report, it has the incidents that I just mentioned. And with that, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have on this, sir. Yes, sir. Very well, sir. Thank you.
No, I don't. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Fire Department, Chief Kane.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Clerk Commissioner, Michael Kane, Battalion Chief, Broward Sheriff Fire Rescue, presenting for the month of July our fire statistics. For the month of July, we ran a total of 212 incidents. Of those, 11 were structure fires, 53 were vehicle accidents, 16 were fire alarms, 128 were medical calls, and 4 were service calls, for a total of 212 calls. A little higher, but still within the threshold. Yes. I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have them.
I don't have any, thank you.
Okay, good evening. Thank you. You too. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioner Hotchkiss. Excuse me, David Sigerson, governmental consultant for the town. Excuse me. Not a whole lot. We did have our Zoom call, our Monday morning or Monday afternoon Zoom call with J.C. and Mr. Clark and Miriam to discuss open grants and where we are, the status. That was followed on the 28th of July by a in-person meeting at Town Hall with J.C. and all the senior staff to discuss every single grant that's either open or is about to be closed, or checking the status of them. We also had a lengthy discussion about, some future needs, and I think that we're looking at, using this as a basis moving forward for some sort of visioning meeting that would involve the commission. We will begin, I've begun preliminary discussions with other team members about the upcoming legislative year. Even though it's a late legislative year because of the elections, very little will happen before, legislative-wise, before December. There will be an organizational meeting 2 weeks after the general election, which is November 8th. That will be the first actual visit to Tallahassee that we'll make, but that's mostly ceremonial. They may have a few meetings. It's hard to tell. There's no schedule out yet for that. Also, the reports that you have detailed information in them about the various different grants. In, I think, both Dee Carper's report and in Connie Menashe's report, there are some pretty good detail there. Back on the legislative side, Tidewater's new report, which I didn't get, I sent it out today. Shelley sent it to me the day after I sent in the rest of the reports. They were very busy with elections. Richard is very, very involved in Republican primary campaigns, and that's good for us, obviously. He said things went well. I spoke to him this afternoon. Anyway, in that report, what I picked out of that was that the Revenue Estimating Conference over the next 2 cycles is estimating an additional $5.3 billion in revenue for the state of Florida. So that's some pretty good news generally for the state of Florida. Just thought I would mention that. Also, to finish up, tomorrow is the legislative delegations local bill workshop, which I'll be attending. I mention it just as by way of for your information. It's not necessarily something that any of you would necessarily want to attend or need to attend, or any of the staff people. I just go there to monitor, what's going on and kind of check out who's there and what their interests are. You know what I mean? And so with that, Connie and Dee are both listening in and on their phones if you have any questions, or I'm here for questions if you have any.
Congresswoman's office. She is the Congresswoman's chief of staff.
Mm-hmm.
She left me a very thoughtful 3.5-minute voicemail. But we text back and forth about some environmental issues, and reminded her that we were looking for $139,000 for our body cameras for our police department. Asked her if she'd bring that forward to the Congresswoman, and she said she would pass along my message. So I'm still trying to get something out of the Congresswoman.
Well, I commend your efforts, and I think you have made a great deal of progress in that regard. At least they're taking your phone call, right?
Well, this one was she reached out to me. So
Well, that's even better. So yeah, no, it's going to. I'll say
we
this.
had a great laugh over it. So
I'll say this about that, and this is to commend you for tenaciousness. Sometimes you just have to kind of. It's like in my business, you're going to a committee meeting and there's 10 people on the committee and you find out that 4 of them are yeses, 4 of them are nos, and 2 of them are maybes. So you work on those maybes, you try to get them over into the yes column. It's the same thing with elections, and right now I think she's in the maybe column, which is a lot better than where she was 2 months ago.
the last 10 years.
Or the last 10 years. Yeah, exactly.
You got it.
All right, very good.
Just need you to put the mic closer to you, sir.
I'm going to be eating it if I put it much closer.
I know, but they're telling me.
Can everyone hear me okay?
Now we can.
Okay.
Commissioner?
You have any questions?
No, I don't have any, thank you.
All right, thank you. We need to upgrade our equipment. All right, section 7, building department, building official Nunez. We'll start 7.1, the July 2022 monthly report. And give me just a second to pull it up. Go ahead. Sure you speak close to the microphone.
Thank you, sir. I will.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I will too. My name is Miguel Nunez. I'm the building official for the town of Pembroke Park. This time I'm going to be presenting the July 2022 monthly status report. As I always start, the building department staff continues to excel in our internal and external customer service. It's the best on Broward County. I always say that. I'll maintain it, and I can put it to the task to anybody else. By the numbers, during the month of July, we have several fluctuations on the inspection process and the permit. We have, during that time, we issue 196 permits. Out of that was 80 commercial, 116 residential, 71 permits closed. Inspection went in 244 inspections divided by structural 104, mechanical 27, electrical 46, and plumbing 67 for a total of 244. Front counter visits 124. We're trying to make it lower by going into more electronic version, which I'm going to be explaining to you in a couple of minutes. Double permits, we issued 37 double permits. And we have an additional one amnesty program during the month. However, I would like to bring a mistake that I had in the previous workshop where it said that there was no applicants. During that month, actually, there were 14 applicants, and by correction, as of today, we have 48 applicants on the amnesty program total. However, also, I'm glad to report to the commission that we have processed 2 completed reimbursement requests to the finance department for a total of $1,370.82, and they were distributed as follows. In the amount of $1,121.01 that went to 123 Lori Lane, Pembroke Park, that's Lakeshore Pembroke Park Mobile Home, Lakeshore Mobile Home Park, I'm sorry. Also, we issue in the amount of $249.81 at 3120 West Highlander Beach Boulevard, unit number 529. That's in the Holiday Mobile Home Park. For a total was $1,370.82. In regards to the revenue during this reported period, the building department disciplines only has collected $97,348.18. While we are still a little bit low during the month of July, we believe that we're gonna break even during the entire fiscal year. However, I'm not gonna tell you, but I'm happily to mention, we already break even as of this month. Just to inform you in advance of the previous workshop, on the next workshop, I'm sorry. In regards to the large construction projects, we issue Building 2 on Seneca, that's a warehouse industrial building. We are waiting for building number 3, and we expect that to be issued somewhere between at the end of this week or the earlier next one. We're still waiting for building 5 for Seneca decision, on the stakeholders in Seneca decision. Coca-Cola, we know is a continuous operations, no changes on that. However, in the Seneca Town Center, we call it the Wawa site. The Wawa building, building is already issued. Comments are coming and go. We're just waiting for the next round of comments, and we've been in contact with the designers of records for that particular purpose. Also, we received during the month of July the storage building as a dry run. That's a 4-story storage building that it goes on the east side of the lot. We already have it. We issue already the first review of comments by all disciplines. And I've been in contact with the designers of records, that means architects and engineers, and we are moving forward for the second round. Hopefully that will be the last one. Also, even though this is not in July, but I would like to mention, as of yesterday, we received the hospital application for a dry run. So that means we're going to have, other people may call it urgent care. I call it the hospital because it's a micro hospital. And we will be initiating that plan review and completed by next week, as per our promise that we'll have it within 10 days. Calendar days, not business days. Sorry, business days, not calendar days. Sorry for that. We're still waiting for Magnolia Townhomes, Pembroke Oaks, and Pembroke Villas, which are the townhomes in 52nd and County Line, and also the 7 buildings in West Highlander Beach Boulevard. They are in DRC and pre-application meeting. That goes into the regular process. Same thing happens with O'Reilly, and we have communication with the car wash that is being installed for some time. We have communication with the stakeholders and the principals, and they say that they are almost ready to obtain Broward County, which is the only holdup to issuance of the permit. Unfortunately, without Broward County, we cannot issue the permit. Everything is already being approved. Everything is already being done with minor details, but those are the basics. Now, I would like to take this opportunity to recognize and commend the action of Waste Connections. Very seldom you see when somebody dump illegally in the Carolina Street and the corner of Carolina and South Park Road a large pile of garbage, trash, and debris. Upon our notification, and before Public Works got there, because Public Works was en route to go there, the Waste Connection people moved all their equipment voluntarily Has nothing to do with them because it was not part of anything that they will do. And they pick up all the debris, clean the street, and leave it better than what it was, believe it or not. So when you have something like that, you have to commend those kind of actions for our business partners. So and that's what I'm doing. Needless to say that in addition, I want to inform that the building department has processed numerous tenant improvement, mobile homes, and so on like that. So if you have any questions, I'll be more than glad to answer them.
Not have any questions.
No, we're good.
Thank you.
We're good on that. 7.2 vehicle purchase for the building department.
Mayor, Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins, Miguel Nunez, building official, Town of Pembroke Park. This time I would like to request authorization from the commission to purchase the vehicles for the building department complete fleet replacement under the Florida Department of Management Service contract 25-1000021 STC. Please don't ask me to repeat that again. The proposed vehicles are being budgeted for the fiscal year 22-23 and were previously earmarked from the building department surplus for replacement. The proposed vehicles will be 2 Ford Escapes. I put the year 2022. That's what we expect. Or 2 Chevrolet Traverse, similar to the vehicles that we have, or similar vehicles, depending on the availability and inventory for the contracted vendors by the above-mentioned state contract. However, as we all know, we have issues on delivery, we have issues on supplies, we have issues everywhere, and obviously vehicles are not the exception on that rule. That's the reason we are moving ahead of the next fiscal year, knowing that we'll not be able to replace those vehicles before the fiscal year, therefore the PO will not going to be used before the fiscal year, even though it is issued during this year. That already has been discussed with the town manager and our finance director for that purpose. So based on that information, I respectfully request that the commission allows the purchase of the above vehicles not to exceed a purchase of $125,000. That will give us a couple of $1,000 extra for cushion, just in case we need to move from one vendor to the other, and the difference on price that you got from time to time. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer them.
On consent. 7.3, building department relocation to the 3rd floor.
Mayor, Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins, Miguel Nunez, building official, like I always said every time I present something to each and every one of you. At this time, I would like to request authorization to the commission to initiate and provide the required ranking for the proposed relocation of the building department offices to the 3rd floor. That will include not only the building department, but also all associated of units and offices that are under the direction of the building department, BTR, code, planning, emergency services, and so on. Our intent is to select the designer of record from the plans, which we request to be approved by the town manager, even though we do not believe it's going to pass the $25,000 threshold that the manager has as authorization for that particular purchases. But if do, I would like to have your authorization so the manager can approve it so in order to move forward. And the request for proposal, RFP, for contractors and letting to bring such cost and amounts to the commission for approval like is customary in accordance with the town procurement rules and guidelines. So we respectfully request the commission to allow us to start the process into moving the building department to the 3rd floor. That, if you look into your page number 61 or 326, I believe that's the one that you have in front of you, you're going to notice that we have created like a plan. That's not the plan that we're going to have in there. Some things may change. But that is basically an idea of what we plan to do. By having not only the building department on the associated offices in the 3rd floor, we also plan to have the Emergency Operations Center, with the supporting mechanism for the emergency operations centers, like I mentioned, showers, offices, conference rooms, bunk beds, or things like that, which is required by every operational center to be certified by Broward County, as we have been in communication with them. Needless to say, all that, it will be part also in conjunction with the hardening process that the town already has in progress via the Public Works Department. And I just want to make sure that you understand that everything is going to be together in order to have a full municipal emergency operations center.
Do you have any issues from the police department on that?
No,
you discussed
sir.
it with them and they're all for it, or what?
No, because this, the way we expected this to be, it's going to be done in two phases. The north side is going to be the offices for the new building department, if you want to call it that way. However, that right now that's vacant. So once we move that, we will be able to move to the third floor. Police will be able to move to the first floor, and then we will be able to continue with the EOC. That will not obstruct operations. That will not obstruct our efforts, and that will be basically, things could change during the interim, but basically that's the current plan.
I guess my question is, have you talked to Chief Howard about it? And it's been, he's on board with it, and everything is okay with him? I mean, you guys have to have mutual.
We have meeting with Chief Howard, and everything is contingent that it is my impression and my that the police department will be on the first floor. That means when they vacated the third floor at that time is when we're going to be moving to the other side, which is going to be the emergency operations center. Right now, they don't have any operations whatsoever on the north side, with the exception of the evidence room. That will be maintained at all times.
Let me explain a little better. The one side of downstairs on the first floor will be the operation side. The other side will be the administration side. So once they can move up to the third floor, we'll move the police department down to the first floor while they finish the build out of the operation side on the north side of the.
Yeah, the only reason I asked that is because there was a little bit of feedback came to me whether they wanted to move down, that they didn't want to. I'm not sure if that's been addressed or not. I just want to make sure it's been addressed, that's all. We don't need any more conflict.
Major, welcome.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Major Rashana Donovan. I am your major for the Town of Pembroke Park Police Department. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. We have no issue with moving our agency down to the first floor. We have been in constant communication with Director Miguel Nunez. We have never butted heads. We have never had any ill words or anything ill spoken between us. We are working together to do this simultaneously, and whatever we need, he has been a great support for us, and whatever they need, we are supporting them.
Well, that's great. Glad to see you're all on the same page.
Thank you.
Thank you. Also, I would like to add to that I'm going to expand on the works of Major Donovan. We have not had any conflict whatsoever with the police department. If anybody is saying that, please come to me, talk to my office, so I can tell you that you're a liar in your face.
Okay.
Is that clear enough?
Yeah, that's pretty clear.
Was I very candid? Because I can tell you again, you're a liar on your face. You don't know what you're talking about. Again, you're a liar. I hope you get offended. I hope you get offended. Because the last thing I'm going to do is call your name. Is that clear enough? I'm very transparent, and I don't offend anybody. But I hope you get offended. Thank you.
Seven four, building department fees.
Thank you, Mayor, Clerk Commissioner. My name is Miguel Nunez, building official, Town of Pembroke Park. As customary for every year before the budget season, I would like to inform the proposed building department fees. That's something that I bring every year to the, because as per Florida Statute 55380, point 1G, the permit fees has to be approved by the elected body or the appointing jurisdiction. In this case, the only exception that we adding, first of all, we're doing some clerical changes. If you're gonna see that in page 64 or 326, you're gonna have that we added the state of Florida reference in our, for clarification in our, on the top of the page. Also, if you go into page 68 or 326, a couple of areas was removed for clarification, and the penalty that was added, that it was already approved by the commission during the Chapter 5 approval that was a couple of months ago. Additional fees were removed because at this point in time, we don't need those areas like permit card replacement. Since we are in an electronic version, we do not replace permit cards anymore. The customer or the contractors has the ability to every single day, every single moment to go and get it themselves. In that case, all it takes is an email and that's it. Same thing with the approval job site plan. Since we are electronic, everything is set up, so we don't have to review the plans. So that means everything is reviewed, everything is done, everything is on record. So therefore, we are deleting those fees. However, one of the requirements that we have, and I think I misspoke with you, Town Attorney Anderson, because I told you that reconsideration fee was $200. No, it was $100, and I appreciate that. I apologize for that when I spoke with you. The only thing that we adding for the entire fee structure is a reconsideration fee, which is part of the unsafe structures enforcement fees, and that's the reason whenever any violator, once he goes through the unsafe structure board and wants to have his case reconsidered or reheard, then we're going to charge $100 for administrative fees and they offset the cost of the staff. That's basically what it is. And that only happens at that particular time, not at all times. After that, that's basically everything. Everything remains the same. There's no changes with the exception of those two items.
No, looks good.
When Mr. Nunez went ahead and spoke in regards to the building department relocation, I don't know if this is a directive, a consent, or a line item, or...
I think it's just direction on that, right?
Yeah, you should.
Direction.
There's nothing to really approve, it's just,
Okay. And this one, and this item?
This item here, this will be a consent item.
Thank you.
So allow me, I'm slow, I apologize for that. Do I have your consent to continue with the third floor? Since there's nothing to vote, do I have to come back on that?
when they have to spend the money, yes.
When it comes to the
Oh, I'm an
money
expert on that, so I'm gonna be here every day.
Yeah.
And before you leave, let me point out, you have to have feelings to be offended. Just saying.
I have
Manager
none.
pointed out earlier, I don't have any, so, just so we have that understanding.
I have no feelings either, don't worry about it.
Perfect. We're on
I
the
just
same
try to
page.
offend somebody, that's it.
Hard as a rock.
Yeah,
All right. Thank you.
thank you. Bye-bye.
8, Code Enforcement. Chief Code Enforcement Officer Ramirez. 8.1, Code Enforcement Report, July 2022.
I'm sorry. You don't want the presentation? Okay.
Chief Code Enforcement Officer Jocelyn Ramirez. Good evening, Mayor and Clerk Commissioner. I'm here to present the month of July for the Code Enforcement Department. We had 16 liens, 18 notice of violations, 42 formal hearings, 17 final orders, 2 amended final orders, 6 non-affidavit of compliance, 18 affidavit of compliance, and 10 order of abatements. And on the chart, you can see the difference between June and July. We kept about the same pace, but July we did have more cases. For special magistrate, we did execute our August meeting on August 17th. We had 26 formal hearings. Out of the 26, one case was dismissed due to compliance. We had 13 confirmations of fine, 1 fine abated, and 2 extended times. A total of 42 cases. Our next hearing will be on September 21st at 9 a.m. Updates, as usual, code enforcement monitors the town corridors, and we follow up on complaints. Another update we have is that we reviewed the resume of Andrea McKenney. She has a wealth of knowledge in code enforcement, and we're looking to bring her on board. The following are a few photos of before and after for the month of July that came into compliance. The first property is the Polo Club, 5590 West Hallandale Beach Boulevard. On the photos, you can see that is in blight condition. The parking lot needs maintenance, building needs maintenance, and the fence is deteriorated and falling. The following photos show the after, where they paved and restriped the parking lot. They put in a new metal fence, and they painted the building. As well, trimmed the trees. The next property is on 3535 Southwest 52nd Avenue. On the before picture, you can see that the roof is in blight condition, the walls as well. On the after photos, you can see that they redid the roof with permits, and they paved and restriped the parking lot with permits and painted the exterior. The next property is at Lakeside Trinity. I got multiple complaints on overloaded dumpster, trash everywhere. This was a mishap, not on the property's owner's part, but on Waste Management. They failed to pick up on schedule. I did make sure that this message was sent to the manager, Kay Hurley, at Waste Management. They did promise us that, that this will not happen again. But they did go ahead and clear out the dumpsters, and that's the after. And I kept it pretty brief today, so any questions for me? Okay.
The one on 3150 52nd Ave, with that one cleared up?
3150? No.
Has not?
Some things have, like the pressure washing, but I was told that some items are being worked on, getting estimates, so I will need to follow up.
All right,
But
that's the only question I have.
there are multiples, and if you'd like, I can put a list together for the town
Send me a
commission.
list or email me a list, please.
I will.
I'd like a copy of it, yeah, sure.
Send it to the clerk or town manager, have them send it to all the commissioners.
Okay, not a problem. You're welcome.
Approval of Special Magistrate Andre McKenney, Town Attorney Anderson, Chief Code Enforcement Officer.
Jocelyn referenced Andre McKenney. The building and code enforcement departments actually sent her resume to me, and I think she'd be a great choice, so we're asking that to be put on the agenda for the next meeting to approve her. And I included the resume in case you want to.
Say since the Vice Mayor's not here, put that as a line item.
It would, I think it'd be a resolution anyway, that you'd have to.
Resolution?
That you'd have to
Yeah.
appoint them.
Put it as a line item for next meeting. All right, item 9, Finance Department, Finance Director Brown. Is it just me, or did it get really cold in here?
Love it.
Up about 10 degrees in about 5 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Clerk Commissioner. Roy Brown, the Budget and Finance Director. Just want to give you an update of where we are, throughout the budget process. So usually, most municipalities start their process around February and March. I started in July, so I've been kind of behind the 8 ball with some things, but just want to take the time out to thank the town staff and the directors, department directors, for just buying in the process and getting information to me in a timely manner to help me throughout. So I say that to say that we're almost there with balancing the budget. A few minor tweaks are needed, just to balance out. I do plan on meeting with commissioners over the next few days, leading up to next week or maybe middle of next week, just to go through line by line, literally line by line if we have to. During the budget cycle, the few weeks that I've been here, it was more so of a zero-based budget approach where where no line was justified unless there was supporting documents, to support those numbers. So essentially the budget was turned upside down and, directors and I went on a line-by-line basis of building out the budget. Other than some, incremental increases for contractual services, which is pretty standard. There is a 5-year forecast that I'm preparing to project through fiscal year 2028. So I will be happy to discuss those scenarios with the commissioners. With doing the budget, there were a few discrepancies, for the prior year that made things a little bit harder. These things included, just positions not accounted for, some line items being overstated, some line items being understated. And, it's definitely part of the process, but, starting in July was kind of behind the 8 ball. But again, I'd like to thank the staff and department directors because without their wealth of knowledge, I would not have been able to, get close to a balanced budget in such a timely fashion. Starting October 1st, I will be providing monthly revenue and expenditure status reports to update, really the town and the commissioners on the status of everything. I can't give you guys accurate numbers right now because from the time that the prior finance director were out, we fell behind with bank recs, but with the help of Christian and Valerie and the department, we're really getting caught up. So we'll be good to go October 1st, and moving forward, everything is looking on the up and up. So if you have any questions, I'm here to answer anything.
Make sure we're ahead of the ball when it comes to the audit, like we discussed earlier today, and no nasty letters.
Yes, sir. So I did finish complying with the financial report about 2 weeks ago, so everything is in. Shouldn't expect a nasty letter or anything. And I've been working with, our consultants to make sure that, we're in compliance with everything. So far, so good.
Thank you, Roy.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Police Department. Coming back up, huh?
Yes,
All right.
sir.
10.1, Annex Taser. Axon Taser.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, town employees, town directors, illustrious Mayor Jacobs, and Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins. My name is Rashana Dabney Donovan, and I am the major with the Town of Pembroke Park Police Department. Officers require both training and proper tools to better respond to police service calls. Taser implementation will provide our officers with 3 options of less than lethal force of alternatives that we can utilize every day. So at this time, staff recommends the purchase of 25 tasers for our officers. This includes the cost for 5 years of service, and we respectfully request the approval of the dollar amount not to exceed $90,000. Do you all have any questions for me?
No.
Do you want to volunteer?
We move it to consent.
Training?
I think I could be the one behind. Can you show me how to use it?
You have to take the ride if you want to use it.
It doesn't hurt.
Oh, only a little. Only around the edges.
All right, put that on consent.
Consent, sure.
10.2, 8 car printers and 100 rolls of thermal computer paper for the same previously approved on February 11th, 2022.
Thank you. Staff is recommending the purchase of the previously approved in-car printers with an additional 7 printers with thermal paper for the newly purchased patrol vehicles. We respectfully request the approval of the dollar amount not to exceed $14,998.38. Do you all have any questions of me?
Thermal paper hold up in the heat here?
It shall.
All right. I don't have any other questions. Do you?
No.
All right, put that on consent.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Welcome. Planning Department. Do you have anything? Human Resources, HR Director. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, Clerk Commissioner, Babette Friedman, HR Director. So this is my second week here at the town. I want to thank the staff for being very welcoming. I've met with all the department heads and gone over kind of their training needs, anything that I can provide them support on, and I look forward to working with you all. Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Department, do you have any? Public Services Department. Public Services Director Clark. We'll start with 14.1. Public Services Department Monthly Report, August 2022.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, Mr. Mayor, Clerk Commissioner. My name is Robert Clark, Public Services Director. Before I start into this, the monthly report, if I could I get clarification? Do we want to move forward with the repair of the sinkhole?
We have to fix the sinkhole.
Yes, sir. So it is. So we put that on consent to move forward with the repair of the sinkhole. Okay. All right. I just want to get clarification on the record, sir. All right. So before we start, it's a great deal to report, so I wouldn't want to go into the entire report. But there is a special project that I wanted to bring to your attention. That there has been a change in the project management of the police station and the police station build out. So I wanted to bring forward Mr. Jorge, how you pronounce your last name? Cervantes? Mr. Jorge Cervantes, to answer any questions that the panel may have concerning that project and moving forward. And from my understanding, it's going to be handled by the building official. Okay.
Good evening, Major Jacob. Good evening, Commissioner Hodkins. Good evening to everybody. My name is Jorge Cervantes from Cabo Girano. We are going to be the engineers and the architects for the build out of the police department on the ground floor on the north side of the building. Got any questions?
I do not have any questions for you.
Well, I've seen the layout. They'll be changing that, though, I assume, a little bit here and there.
We had to do several layouts of the build out due to structural components that we found as we were designing the project. Right now, we are project to have the building, all the documents submitted to the building department by Friday for the dry run. And we've been in contact already with Mr. Miguel Nunez regarding these items.
Great. Full speed ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I field any questions for the Public Services Department.
Important that sticks out on this report. Elevator maintenance.
Robert Clark, Public Services Director. Essentially, regular maintenance is very important to, and it's the bigger part of my position here as Public Services Director. You can see the actual proposal and the cost associated with it, 17.5, to change out various items and the fluid and the pumps as so on. I'm requesting approval for the 17.5 to get the fluid change, especially if we move forward with the building department moving to the 3rd floor. We're going to get extra use out of those elevators.
We have budgeted funds for this?
We do not have budgeted funds set aside for this particular maintenance, but we do have funds set aside for maintenance. Not for this particular maintenance activity, but for maintenance, yes, sir.
Fall under that then?
That would be the decision of the CFO and the city manager.
If it's there and it hasn't been used, we can use it for that, and we
believe it's there?
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on. 14.4, requesting utility box wrapping from Broward County.
Yes, sir. As to the request of the commission, I have attached the actual process and procedure, plus an application associated and various examples on what we can and can't do associated with wrapping those boxes. So I can move forward. Possibly we can put a plan together. Maybe we can put it on for discussion to decide exactly how we want it to be wrapped. And the guidelines are very specific. And then the approval process is a one-form application.
Okay, let's put this, excuse me, let's put this on for a line item.
If you're having trouble up there, I can lower that temperature for you, sir, if you need be.
Oh, no, it's real cold right here.
So lower it, or
No, don't
raise the
touch
temperature,
it.
don't touch it?
The moment you touch it, it's going to be 100 degrees in here.
All right, I can fix it.
Straight down, so. Yeah, let's just put this on as a line item. This is raise item, so we can go over it when he's here. 14.5, asphalt replacement.
Robert Clark, Public Services Director. All right, so the holdup with 14.5 was that as instructed by the commission to move forward with gaining a quote to do the entire U of the actual area that was spec'd out, and it's an additional cost associated with it. We have the quote there. You want an additional $42,000 to finish the entire U. And this is the section behind the on the south side of Town Hall that runs through the Azure complex.
Hey, where's this at?
This is the community right behind to our south.
Huh?
Is the Azure Villas, I'm sorry to interrupt there, but the Azure Villas right here, the commission previously approved 32nd, is it?
Southwest 33rd, Southwest
previously
34th,
approved
and
that?
Southwest 55th Avenue.
And remember, Vice Mayor asked us to get a price to see what it would be to complete the U, to complete the other street as well. And then this is what the price is. I would suggest put it on line item for.
Yeah,
for
do
next
we
meeting.
have the funding set aside for this?
Put it on line item.
Okay. Six, holiday lights.
Rob Clark, Public Services Director. Holiday lights, time we want to get out in front of this. Last year, we waited till the last minute to try and get holiday lights, and I think we got the bottom of the barrel. We have a quote from them to move forward with the holiday lights. We'll probably, if we could make it a line item for discussion to pick and choose what it is that we would like to do. And just bear in mind that we do not have electricity in all of the islands headed down the middle of Hallandale Beach Boulevard. So there's a cost associated with adding an electrical outlet. Otherwise, we would have to do what we did last year, and that would be to place ornamentation at the beginning of Hallandale Beach Boulevard near I-95 and at 56.
Remember the discussion we had previous meeting? Over
Absolutely.
Something different and lighting up the park?
Absolutely.
We didn't know if this was in addition to that, sir.
No, we can't afford that.
Okay, no, I didn't know what you wanted
This
to do.
is one or the other. So this quote here is what, 30-some thousand?
Thereabouts, sir.
Right around that? We
Yes,
can't
sir.
afford to do both.
So if we could talk about a very specific, well, we would have to put together a meeting to talk about your specifics over in the park, sir. Okay.
Let's put a meeting together for next week for that.
Yes, sir. I don't know if I can get this company in the meeting, or do you just want to do an exploratory committee meeting here for the town staff?
Let's
and then-
just have a round table, show what we're talking about, and then go out that way and get some quotes.
Absolutely.
Robbie, do they ever have, is
Put it
there
on his line
anything
item.
out there right now with, like using some kind of solar to get, to help light the decorations without having electricity in an island or something like that?
I wouldn't be the subject matter expert to talk intelligently about solar and the amount of power that will be needed.
Because I know those lights don't draw very much. I mean,
So there again, I would have to bring in an expert that would be able to identify that. But if that's something that you're instructing, I can look into that also. See if there's a solar
I think it'd be
option.
worth looking at, rather than
Absolutely.
under electricity day and night.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll do 14-7 resolution for award of 47th year Sea Reserve Safety Improvement resolution. I think it's
Essentially, we're just looking for funding on this particular CDBG project, 47th year, to continue on with the project, the lighting project over in the Preserve Park.
looking exactly for?
In this particular case, is that it's a block grant for $99,960.
What are you looking for?
For consent on
Resolution.
this?
It's
On
a
the
resolution.
I apologize, on the resolution.
It's a resolution that needs to accompany.
That you go with Imperial on this?
Yes, sir. They was the winning bid.
Consent, do you have any questions?
No, I'm good. That's Imperial's contract.
It's a resolution, so it would.
Or, I'm sorry, resolution. We'll have to have it read. My fault. Line item. 14.8, electrical contracting service.
So this is a continuing services agreement. Per the commission's direction is to establish business relationships so we could have a pool of companies we can go to. In this particular case, we have a 3-year continuing services agreement with a 1-year option to renew, and this will be the first renewal.
Consent on this?
Yes, sir, we're looking for consent on this.
No, I think we can just move it to consent.
The support of this is to have an electrical company service. Okay. If there are no more questions, sir,
I'm going to take a 10-minute recess. I got to warm up. It is that cold sitting right here. So, and I apologize, but I'm going to step outside and warm up for a minute. All right, we'll return. I'm having the temperature adjusted in here, so it's not at the level. Perfect timing.
7:26. 7:26 now.
I know.
When did we, yeah, when did we? 7:18.
All right, I'll go ahead. 15.1 BSO interim services contract. Town Attorney Anderson.
So, as you know, our contract with BSO for both police and fire services is expiring at the end of September. And so I went ahead pursuant to commission direction and reached out to BSO and discussed both fire and police contracts with them. Excuse me, the fire services contract, they now separate out both the fire versus the police services. The fire services, I'm going to take that first because it's I think a little bit less controversial than the police services contract. That's 15.2. They JC has numbers on that. It would be for a 5-year contract with 1 renewal. I tried to get them to write it as a 1-year contract with 5 optional renewals, but they wouldn't do that. So that's the fire services and the police services. As you know, we're not going to have police services until February 1. The chief has told me that we may be able to open as early as January, but there is going to be some time in between the cessation of the contract between the town and BSO, and between the end of September and the beginning of our, and the beginning of our own police department. So, although originally Terrence Lynch had told JC and I that they would give us a year contract with a 60-day termination clause, they said that they couldn't offer that to us. So
Say that again.
they initially told JC and I they would offer us a contract with a 60-day termination, but when we started negotiating these contracts in earnest, we were told that they could not offer that to us. So, and then JC and I, over the ensuing weeks, prior to this meeting, both tried to negotiate with BSO. Basically, I wrote him an email saying, look, you guys are being unreasonable. We're trying to start our own police department. It would be nice if you could support us. And they didn't. I mean, there's just not a lot of empathy or sympathy there. So the terms didn't change. So they're offering us a 1-year contract with a 6-month termination. My recommendation on both of these contracts, despite their reversal on the 60-day termination, is for legal reasons to approve them both. I would say as to the police services contract that we approve it, and then we turn around and we give them notice. Because, and if we have to pay them overlapping with our own police department, then that is what we would have to do. I understand from finance that BSO is actually fully budgeted in our budget for next year. So, but it's up to the commission, and that's the bottom line. It is what it is. Unfortunately, they are not going to give us an easy out on the police services.
All right, with regards to the 60 days, that was used for us when we were forced into the agreement. Either we extended till October 1st or September 30th. You brought the agreement forward that we had to either extend till the end of September, or they were going to terminate services to us in June. And at that same meeting, you brought forward that we had a 60-day, that they agreed with the 60-day termination of the contract for a 1-year contract. You brought it forward at the same time. So now what you're saying is they said absolutely not to the 60 days and went back on their word?
Yes, correct.
So they're not negotiating in good faith at this point?
I don't know if they're negotiating in good faith, but they certainly aren't offering us what they told us they would offer us.
Okay, so they're going back on what? All right,
Yes,
so
they went back on what they
the
said.
big picture here. Okay, the big picture is they came in with this agreement and said, hey, you need to sign this agreement or we're going to terminate services with you. Sign this and we'll give you services through the end of September. But if you don't sign this, we're going to terminate services with you in June. That's what was on the table at the time. And then they came forward that day because you guys told us that day they'd send an email saying that with a 1-year contract, they'd do a 60-day buyout. Or not buyout, a 60-day termination clause in that. So in that being said, that 60-day pitch of terminating the contract was used in the process of getting us to approve the other agreement.
Oh, it was a ploy.
Yeah, it's bait and switch. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do see that.
So the county's not doing this in good faith of what they had initially agreed to. I think the county's got some serious issues and needs to come forward and discuss this because this isn't right to go back on their word. When they used it to get us to vote on one thing for us to terminate because we were going month to month to month on our agreement with them. And this forced us into an agreement that, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It forced us into an agreement and said if we didn't sign this agreement, they were going to terminate service with us. And that was, I believe, June.
I need to, I'm sorry about this. This is my daughter's second time she's called. Let me just step out.
Fine.
Mayor, if you want, and I think it might not be a bad idea, we can get them here. Let's invite them to come.
Sure. Let's do it. Next meeting, bring them here. Because this is not in good faith. That's what they did. Make sure you also include the media with that request as well.
All right, so we're
Sheriff.
we're going to put it on the agenda and we're going to invite them here to discuss it.
The sheriff, the attorney, and the media for the next meeting. Because right now, they're not negotiating in good faith, and the public needs to know what is going on here and how they're putting us in a very compromising position. And I think it's time that the sheriff be held accountable.
That might even be a breach of contract.
Oh, I'm sure it is. We got a lot of stuff. You know, in fact, 21% of our calls go unanswered. And we still pay for service. There's a lot of issues we have in our contract that the sheriff's department has not been willing to discuss. This has been ongoing since I got here.
I'll send the email out tomorrow.
Let's just put a line item for discussion on these contracts.
Both of them?
Yeah, both of them, because the vice mayor needs to spend the time going through this as well and understand every aspect of this contract and agreement.
Get this one written in stone if we do anything with them.
But that's them going back on their word and forcing us into an agreement that we really shouldn't even had to do in the first place.
All right, that's it for me, for my items for next week.
All right, 16, County manager.
As you know, at this time of year, the lobbyist contracts come up. This would be the third extension. The commission can decide what they want to do. These are professional services. They don't fall within your regular procurement. So you or the commission can continue to work with them. I'm recommending another year, as you and I had spoken earlier when we were meeting with Roy.
Yeah, let's put these on as a line item as well, so we can discuss them with the vice mayor as well.
Yes, sir.
18, new business, 18.1. It's not on here. This is what I added. Charter Review Committee. I think we need to have an independent person running our Charter Review Committee that doesn't have any interest in the town whatsoever. I think it's in the best interest for the town to have that.
People that are in there now, there's like 5 different, 4 different
I'm
names.
not talking the members. The person to run the meeting right now currently is Town Attorney Anderson. I think it's in the best interest of the town to have someone who is not from the town running the charter review. So there's an independent voice in there. Have you watched any of the charter review meetings?
Yes. Do you think that, are you saying that you think the town attorney would sway them in one way or the other? I mean, these people have been doing this before. I mean, it's not like they're not new at it. You know?
They're brand new at doing this. They're just like you. They were appointed with no background and experience whatsoever. They've had 8 meetings, and that's it. With the town attorney and town attorney only.
Clerk Commissioner, I'm sorry. Clerk Commissioner, if you could move your mic close to you, please.
Sure.
Thank you, sir. Sorry.
So this is a discussion. We can move it on to the agenda as a discussion. That way the vice mayor could be involved as well.
I think that's a good idea.
I don't want to leave him out on anything here. All right, that's all I have. 19. Discussion, 19.1. Rotating mayor designation. Commissioner Hodgkins.
Yes, I noticed upon reading a lot lately, because I'm new at this, I read a lot, and I find that a lot of the towns, the size of ours or even bigger, or have different types of government than, or even the same types of government we do, but they just operate a little bit differently. Some of them have, like a strong mayor, not so many as a weak mayor, but they have a weak mayor, and then they have the form of government's just a commission, council type town government. But I noticed one thing that stuck out to me was that they had a rotating mayor type thing, where if you had a full commission, say in this instance we had 5 people up here, we would rotate it every year. It would rotate. You would get different types of people, different views, and different applications being given to the town, which may benefit the town, or just something different. And so you don't get one person's view on everything and have it stymied that way for a couple of years without being able to have any recourse. So it might be something to look at. And then I know we got a charter review coming up, and those people who are on that charter review committee are probably watching this meeting, and so maybe that would be something that should be considered.
Okay. So you've been here for a year now. What form of government are you?
We're under a weak mayor form of government.
Okay, so you've been here for a year and we're under a weak mayor form of government? That's what you're saying? Actually, we're under a commission form of government.
Commission form of government with a weak mayor.
We actually have 5 commissioners of 5 equal powers, so your voice is exactly the same as mine, as it is raised as of the 2 empty seats. It's not one stronger than the other. Everyone has an equal vote, equal power. That's a commission form of government. That's not a weak mayor form of government.
Well, let me put it this way. And the way that the town is being run right now is a weak mayor form of government. Because I see that in a normal situation, the mayor would be just what would you call it? Just a figurehead that would go out and, shake hands, kiss babies or whatever. But somebody who's involved in the town and actually trying to run and micromanage every department or something like that, then that's not too good for the town, because the people who are hired for those jobs don't get to do their jobs efficiently because they're being interfered with all the time. So maybe it'd be better to have it so if someone was in there, they would only be in there for a year, then you'd rotate it, and somebody else would be in there for a year, and so on and so forth.
I actually wish I had the time to go out and shake hands and kiss babies. I got 3 kids
I got
myself.
pictures
and
of you.
absolutely love 'em.
You do a lot of Facebook. You do a lot of handshaking and kissing babies.
No, I actually attend a great deal of meetings. I attend the Broward League of Cities, the Florida League of Cities. I sit on I'm actually on the board of directors for the Florida League of Mayors as well.
I didn't ask for a resume.
No, I'm just telling you what this position actually consists of. It's not going out shaking hands and kissing babies. It's going out panhandling, finding money for funds, meeting the right people to bring here to the town to improve this place. I know you have no concept of where we were at back in 2017, 18, before Ray and I got here, even all the way through the first 2 years of Ray and I being here. So have you reviewed our charter?
Yes.
All right. You understand what Section 9 of our charter is?
Section 9?
Section 9.
Well, I don't have a photographic memory, but.
Read it and reviewed it?
Melissa, you want to tell me what Section 9 says?
I'll read it. I got it right here.
But
So-
do you have my name on the list, Mayor?
Section 9. Pull this up online. This I pulled straight off the internet here. So Section 9 talks about the town commission and how the town commission is formed. And I'm going to read just part of it so you kind of understand how we go here and operate here. You know, just recently I had to tell you about the Avalorum and everything else. So I feel like I'm coaching and teaching as we go along. There are courses you can take that will help you through League of Cities get a grasp and understanding of how things are done.
I am taking some of them.
Which classes have you signed up for?
I know for just about everything that they sent me.
So election of commissioners, it says Town Commission, Section 9, election of commissioners. The government of the town of Pembroke Park shall vest in a commission consisting of 5 elected members from 5 separate geographic districts for the purpose of representation upon an election of the commissioners. The Town of Pembroke Park Commission shall by ordinance prior to December 1st, 2022 in the adoption of the town in accordance with the Constitution of the State of Florida and the United States into 5 number geographic districts. Therefore, by subsequent enacted ordinances, the Town of Pembroke Park Commission shall adjust the boundary lines of said districts and may be required from time to time in order to, may be adjusted in time to time in order to appoint the town shall continue to be in accordance with the Constitution of the State of Florida and the United States, but in any event not less frequently than the first calendar year following each census. Thank you. Says here, let me go down here to where it matters. Okay, the commission shall be composed of a mayor commissioner, vice mayor commissioner, clerk commissioner, and 2 other commissioners. At the first regular meeting of the commission following the election, herein provided, as the commission shall by resolution appoint one of its members as and to be the mayor of the municipality, another of its members as and to be the vice mayor of said municipality, and the other of its members as and to be the clerk commissioner of the municipality. So the charter is the bylaws that the town operates under. These are the rules that we have agreed with the state of Florida that we're going to operate under. These are the rules that we have to follow. Now, our charter review continues, I believe, through next year. Then it's brought before us, which I believe doesn't go into effect for another 4 years, right?
I'll be honest, I'm not sure. at what point, when it, after it gets voted on, then at that point, I think that
I think
it goes
the following
after the
election year.
election, correct.
So even with another 4 years go by before it actually goes into place. So 2023, then 4 years after that new charter, of what we've determined and to adopt out of that charter, the commission has, those are just recommendations that are brought forward by the Charter Review Committee. So that's how it goes. That's what this says, and this is how our charter is. Unless that changes and the commission votes on it, but that won't happen for years from now. So,
well, there's probably, I'm sure there's some sort of, maybe a resolution or an amendment or something you can put on a docket, or maybe be voted on by the public, or.
Well, I'm not sure who determined that it's not, it won't take effect 4 years until after it's voted on.
do you see what this is? This is the United States Constitution. This is what we operate under in the United States. I carry this with me everywhere I go. Something I truly believe in. This here is our charter. This is the same exact thing. These are the rules for the town that we're governed to operate out of. We
Yeah,
cannot
I was
go
looking at the
outside of
Florida
this.
Municipal Officials Manual, the manual that basically tells you how different forms of government are.
This is true. What I'm saying is these are the guidelines that we're required to follow. We cannot go outside of these guidelines. This is why I adhere to these guidelines throughout our process, or not guidelines, these are the rules that we operate under. So, Melissa, go ahead.
The charter would be effective whenever the charter states it will be effective.
So we can adjust the date on the, after the charter.
Yeah, but I mean, some portions of it won't be effective. For instance, the next, and by the way, Mayor, if you want, I did originally hire a law firm to help us out with the charter review in order to save money in the budget. I've been doing it myself. If you would like me to bring in an outside law firm to run the charter review, I can absolutely do that. I already have a law firm on retainer to do that. But you may also want to consider, if you want somebody from outside the town running it, to hire an executive director of the Charter Review Committee. You can do that too. It just depends.
That's why I put it on for discussion at the next
Yeah,
meeting.
but I'm
so-
just saying, in terms of options, there's already a law firm that's on retainer who you can use if you want to separate it from me, and I understand if you want to do that. So they're set up, and if, however you want to do it, just so you know. So that's for the last item. The item about mayor is relevant because actually I was going to bring it up the next meeting, how because the charter review voted to recommend to the commission, it's not binding, but to recommend to the commission a commission/mayor manager form of government. And then coming up next meeting, next week, is how the mayor is going to be designated. And it's done one of two ways. It's usually done like how Hallandale Beach does it, where it's actually an elected spot. It's still a weak mayor, but that mayor is elected. Or Broward County does it another way, where the mayor isn't elected, but the commission members then vote to select a mayor amongst themselves. Just wanted to put that out there.
Okay, and I'd like to point this one thing out that should be very clear to everyone and the commission, that in all fairness, the only one who has ever spoken to the Charter Review Committee prior to them making their vote was the town manager. The commission had not one commissioner had spoke to the Charter Review Committee. It was only the town manager. And I sat there during that meeting and watched. You presented the Owawingo report from 2018. Would you agree that this town has changed drastically since 2018?
No, this town is still as dysfunctional now as it was in 2018. It has come a long way. You have done a great job at turning a lot of things around. However, this town suffers because there is an outdated charter provision which allows confusion on the part of the staff and the management and the commission. the way this town functions currently is a commission manager form of government with very active commissioners and a weak mayor who takes a big role. And I think you've done a great job. Every single department head, a director head, has addressed the charter review, and I didn't recommend anything to the charter review. In fact, you sat through that committee meeting, and I never recommended anything. But I don't care. It's not my ball game. And if you want an outside law firm to be there, that's fine. If you want to hire an executive director, it's not up to me. It's up to you guys.
And Mayor, I just
Wait, in all fairness, to be clear and honest, everybody here knows that I do not trust the town attorney. I've made that very clear. And going to that meeting, watching how things were presented, is exactly why I do not have that trust or faith in the town attorney.
Well, I welcome each and every one of you to watch the last meeting because there was nothing nefarious going on. I think JC and I discussed having the commission address the charter review committee, but the purpose of the committee is for citizens to make recommendations to you guys.
But they need to also know honestly how the town is being ran, and your pitch to the charter
First of
review
all,
committee,
it wasn't a pitch. It was.
to the charter review committee was not, in all fairness,
Please
how
do
the town
not
is operating.
denigrate what I do by mischaracterizing it. I was in front of the committee. I presented to the committee a set of options. They were the ones who stated that this town runs as a manager-commissioner form of government. Period.
Which they got from you.
Oh, sir, they
I
did
highly
not get that from. Okay, I'm not going to argue with you about it.
Highly
Anyway,
recommend you watch those meetings in detail. In detail. It is very important that you watch and take the time to watch those.
take a magnifying glass and make sure you're looking at it very close.
Okay, town manager, go ahead.
I just wanted to clarify something you said. I attended one meeting at the very beginning of this whole process, introduced myself, talked to them about some of the obstacles, but I was there for maybe 20 minutes, and that was my only interaction with them. I wasn't there feeding them. Whatever they decide, they decide.
And the commission has power to make their own decisions about
I
the
get that.
charter. So that's it.
Who came up with the idea of the charter review committee? Sounds like a bad one.
That was me.
Oh.
Actually,
charter
it was
review
the
or
OIG.
charter- understand,
It was the OIG.
was extremely outdated, and the commissioners that were here would never do a charter review. The Owingo report that the town paid $80,000 for in 2018 recommended it because
I
the
read
last
that.
time was 02? No, 90, I don't
A
remember.
long time ago.
It was a very long time ago. The thing is every time there's a charter review, people could lose their seats, they could lose their positions, so they never wanted that done. But we're not in compliance with federal, state, and local laws with the charter. It is that outdated. But they wouldn't do it. I kept bringing it up, and we finally got it through after we had a change of the commission. So that's bringing the town forward.
How did we pick the 4 individuals that are out there? that you
Every
say you don't know
commissioner
what
that
they
was
want?
here got to nominate one individual from the district. So if you had someone in your district, you could nominate one person. It couldn't be a relative. I don't remember all the restrictions, but no nepotism,
Right.
whatnot. So you had to find one random neighbor that you could sucker into coming here.
Okay.
All right. I don't, do you have anything else on that?
No, I don't. No.
All right, I'm going to take just a point of privilege for a second here and just bring forward that March of 2023, this is a public service announcement, we're having a election March of 2023. All 5 seats up here are available, which another thing is very scary, that an entire town commission can change at one time. If we all don't retain our seats, there's 5 new people that come in, have no history of the town. That is very dangerous, and that's in our charter the way it is. So, but they didn't have elections around here because it was always the same people over and over and over again for many, many years. back to my public service announcement. We're having an election March of 2023. I do believe qualifying starts in January.
I believe so.
Yes. Qualification starts in January. There are flyers out. Contact the town clerk if you are interested in these positions. So I just want to make the public well aware that we will be having an election. Please run. We need people up here.
Yeah, we do.
So having a full commission is critical to this town operating well. So, all right, back to our regularly scheduled meeting. Then we'll continue on to 19.2, vehicle maintenance. Rob, could you come? Are you here? Excuse me. So I wanted to bring this up and address this with you because I have concerns about our maintenance. We use first choice. I mean, over the years, we use local vendors here in town. This keeps rotating. I'm sorry. I got all the backup put on here of all the maintenance for our vehicles for the last 2 years. And when you came on, you and I both discussed the condition of our vehicles. We had our HR director actually went through all the vehicles. You went through the vehicles. They were in bad shape. But here's the problem. Everything going to the dealer is costing us a fortune. There's no reason for a car that is outside of warranty to be going to the dealer when we have local businesses here in town that are a lot more affordable than going to the dealer. So my question is, why are we going to the dealer for everything on here for maintenance now instead of using our vendors?
Robert Clark, Public Services Director. As you're absolutely correct. I'm just following your directions or the Commission's direction to square away our vehicle fleet and inventory. What we found out is subpar.
Sorry, excuse me.
What we found out was there was subpar and substandard performance on the vehicles when they were brought to wherever they were brought to, and we found vehicles that were unsafe. So we know that the potential for an unsafe vehicle can have a close association with aftermarket parts. I have no idea of how these vehicles got to this point, but I knew I needed to start off from a even playing field. That even playing field would be OEM. OEM stands for Original Equipment Manufacturer. That means the way that vehicle was bought, it should be returned to the original equipment manufacturer state, and then it will be approved as a safe vehicle in that capacity.
Okay, so let me step in as someone who has been turning wrenches since I was 12 years old. OEM is honestly a label. A lot of these parts are the same manufacturer. They just put their own brand name on it. Going to the dealer will financially break a town. We're not a very wealthy community that can afford doing that. The situation that was at hand prior to you coming here, there were certain management employees whose vehicles were maintained to the highest of standards, while the staffs and vehicles were band-aided together to keep them on the road and operational. I don't see where our local sourcing shops that we've used for years are going to cut corners. But I will tell you that I'm aware services that were required were not approved by the former management that was in your position for vehicles. Therefore, the maintenance fell into a state of near disarray when you were here, when you got here, and we went and you and I saw all the vehicles. We know what condition we're in, but we need to stay away from the dealer unless it's a warranty item, and start using our local sources here to keep our costs back in check, because the dealer prices, we can't afford dealer prices. You know, when it comes to parts, any shop will order OEM parts if they need it from the dealer itself or from local part shops around town. There's plenty of places. You know, I know you work on things like I do. So, but the dealer is one place that we need to stay away from unless it's a I think, a last resort due to the increased expense that now we're shelling out on these vehicles.
Yes, sir.
I think it's in the best interest of the town to continue using the local source.
If I could add one comment, is that as being a service manager for a local dealer here in Broward County for more than 3 years, I respect your position on that, sir, and I will support it 110%. However, that these particular vehicles were unsafe, and I made that decision based on the performance of the vehicle at the time of the assessment, and made a conscious decision to bring those vehicles back to OEM standard. And at the very least, we would have a baseline from which to move forward. But I have no qualms with using and supporting local businesses who can provide quality service.
Are we at that spot now? Are we at that baseline?
We have, I have printed out all of the receipts if you'd like to see.
I got them all right here.
Yes, sir. So
I uploaded them onto, they're in there as backup.
Yes, sir. So the challenge with the equipment, what we found is that, just to use one base example, I had to fire a vendor because we had the bucket truck in particular, when I first started, was with a vendor.
That bucket truck was a headache.
Yes. And so now the vehicle is working to standard. So,
but my problem with that, and I'll continue because that was something I was dealing with in the past.
Yes, sir.
That public works director continually took the same vehicle back to the same vendor over and over again, that continued to have safety concerns and problems and wouldn't take it anywhere else.
Yeah, man,
so
that
those were issues I had with the former public services manager when it came to our vehicles, because one time, okay, twice, never again. You know, you take it there and you leave, you put someone up and they get stuck in that bucket truck, and that was what one of the problems was. Guys were getting stuck in the truck. It's a safety issue for our staff, and it should have gone out to another place long before you came here. That shouldn't have been an issue that you ever even saw after you got here. But this was the continued merry-go-round of this town, where the same cycle, same problems, same way to address issues. I just want to make sure going forward that we continue to use our local sources and not the dealer unless it's absolutely necessary to go to the dealer for something.
Yes, sir.
You all right with that?
Yeah, I think I am, as long as the people that we go to warranty the work.
We don't have public comment here, but at the next meeting we will. So you can come up at the next meeting and speak if you'd like, which is on the 14th, September 14th. My little calendar disappeared from up here.
We'll get you one.
Okay. But that's all I had on it. I want to make sure we're using local sources and in town for what we can.
Local sources primarily, right, sir? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, wait, don't run away. Sidewalk update, where are we at?
So, I'd like to start out, and thank you for allowing me to speak, Robert Clark, Public Services Director. On May 26th of 2021, the commission, Miriam, my Deputy Public Services Director, brought forward the issues associated with the sidewalks, and there was no decision as to move forward. I was unaware of this when I was asked about this prior to, and then through investigation based on the presentation that was sent to you and the lawsuit or the associated complaint, I think it's referred to, right, as a complaint?
Notice of suit.
Yeah, it's
Pre-suit?
a pre-suit notice.
Okay, so the pre-suit notice, that we have identified that none of those areas were the responsibility of the town. And so with that, and through your encouragement or the commission's encouragement, we brought out the company and to have them reassess the community. And they came Monday and Tuesday, and we're awaiting their report. And at that time, whatever they report, we will schedule, put in. I'm under the impression that there are competing companies to provide this service, and or we could possibly provide some of the services ourselves. However, it would go in the procurement process at that time, and then would be acted upon.
Okay.
And just so you know, sorry, Mayor, the FDOT has confirmed they are responsible for the sidewalks on Hallandale Beach Boulevard. This
And I do have an email.
This assessment that we're doing is just for the local roads, the side roads that we would be responsible for.
Okay, so how are we addressing the ones that are on Hollandale? That's the state's responsibility.
They requested, you send it to them, and they will be the ones taking care of it.
And I have a copy of the email if you'd like to see.
Okay, so it is sent to them, and we do have process.
The
at
same
least
individual,
starting?
the same individual that we contact about the everything else on Hallandale Beach Boulevard through DOT is the same person we contact.
Okay, all right. That's all I have.
Yes, sir.
And I want to apologize to you. I had to run out and catch a flight the other day, and I couldn't hang out any longer to meet with you.
I understand, sir.
But I ran out and didn't get a chance to even text you because I had to scoot to the airport. So, but I'll meet with you later this week or beginning of next week.
When you get time.
All right. Contracts. This is another item I have here on the agenda. Where's our towing contract? Town attorney? Yeah, we have a towing contract. Again, we had a towing contract, and I don't see it listed on here.
Well, I've asked the police chief several times to send me the contact information. I haven't gotten it because I've gotten I did send Wade a sample contract for Hallandale Beach, for Lake Worth Beach, which I think is the perfect contract to enter into with Max, but I haven't gotten.
Well, we have an expired contract that expired, I believe, around September.
Right, and I told David to send me the contact information for Max.
Okay.
And to send
And that
them-
was with Max? M-A-X-X?
No,
ACS.
M-A-C-S?
And I never got that information, but in the meantime, I sent to the police department the sample contract from Lake Worth Beach and suggested that they send that to Max. I have not gotten any contact information for Max.
Okay. Which one?
I'm only here because
Rock, paper, scissors?
Sir, Robert Clark, Public Service Director. I'm only here because I was in that meeting, and just in case you needed some
Okay.
more input.
Major?
I today received a draft agreement from the City of Hallandale Beach Police Department. So if the town attorney would like to look at it, I could forward that information to her.
Absolutely, that would be fabulous.
My apologies, I was unaware that you asked for that contract, so I will make sure.
I asked for
I will
the-
make sure you get it.
I didn't ask for the contract, I asked for the contact with Max so I could get them the Lake Worth Beach contract and we could get it rolling, but that never happened. But that's great that you got that. I'll take a look at it and we'll get it moving.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. All right. 19.5, time clock. I'm going to ask to move this over as a line item so the vice mayor can be here on this one. The discussion I wanted to have is we have a time accountability issue here in the town, and it's even for salaried employees. I brought this forward about 2 years ago, and our HR director and our town manager did not like this. But seeing how now we have a system that's on our phones where everyone can clock in and clock out as long as you're in a geographic area of the town, I believe that we should be having everyone here in town clocking in and out when they arrive, and salaried or hourly employee. That way we have accountability on the time that we can account for people working the hours that they state they're working. But I would like the vice mayor here on that. I'd like the vice mayor here on the discussion as well. Is it something we have to vote on for line item?
Sure.
You have any questions on it? Okay. 19.6. I have a couple things here. I took notes. I want to talk about integrity and honesty. And I'm going to read this. A well-known definition of integrity is doing the right thing through your words and actions and beliefs when none is watching. Having a degree of integrity at work means that you are trustworthy, you are reliable, you practice and encourage open and honest communication. Now, the reason I bring this up is I need to quantify for myself what level of dishonesty is the commission willing to tolerate. And again, we'll have to move this over to the meeting as a line item because the vice mayor is not here and I want his input. I don't know what level of dishonesty you guys are willing to tolerate. Well, that's where I'm at, is zero, absolutely none. So if you have someone that comes forward and flat out lies to the commission at a commission meeting, a director or department head, because those are who we're responsible for. Staff falls under the town manager. But if we have someone who comes forward and lies to the commission, to the point staff called me about it and complained that they can't do anything, that they have to stand by and tolerate someone sitting up here lying to the commission. And they get upset, which that in return hurts the morale here in town. Because it's saying us up here, as the leadership of the town of Pembroke Park, are going to tolerate dishonesty and a lack of integrity from our directors and staff. So I'm talking to you on this one. This is a discussion for the three of us up here. So you say it's zero, mine is at zero. I want to know what the vice mayor's at and where he's at on this. And we need to have a discussion over this because I am not okay with anyone being dishonest to us and deceitful. And I truly believe there are people being deceitful with you and being dishonest with you and not telling you the full story. And in my opinion, if you don't get the full story, and you only get certain bits and pieces of this story, that's no different than lying. They're giving you a little bit of this, but not the big picture that you need to grasp to understand what's going on. I believe you're being played a little bit, and I want you to be aware of that. Going forward, I want you to pay attention to everything that's going on. I truly love the fact that you want to be involved and work here and be more involved with the town, because I can't do it on my own. You know, of the three of us here, I noticed you're here quite a bit now, and I like that, because normally it's just me that's in and out. I'm always on my iPad. I'm always emails, phone calls, Zoom meetings. It doesn't end. Days, weekends, nights, I'm on the phone with everyone. The fact you want to be involved with the town and you want to be involved with the commission, I love that. I really do. But you need to understand, you need to be getting the full picture, and you're not. You're not getting the complete truth coming forward to you as well. So going forward, I want you to pay attention to that and question things that you don't think is right and bring it forward to the commission. So that's where I have for honesty, integrity here in the town.
You will usually know if I question somebody's integrity.
I really hope you would, but I'm telling you, you need to pay a lot more attention to what's going on, because you're missing it. The last meeting in itself, there were several employees upset after the meeting, and you are welcome to talk to the employees and find out yourself what actually happened. So, and I encourage that. One other thing I need to discuss that I didn't put on here, so I'm going to call it 19.7 and take a point of privilege to add this. We have, as commissioners, we have designations of areas that we oversee. Administration falls under the mayor, but I also have the secondary duties of being the police commissioner. Ray is the vice mayor, and I honestly do not remember if there's anything specifically in the charter under his, but he's also the fire commissioner. And you're the clerk commissioner, so you're responsible for the town records. You're responsible for overseeing the clerk's office. In the fact that your position is not to be involved with the day-to-day operations, but you are the liaison between the clerk's office and the commission. So if I have any issues that involve the clerk's office, I have to go over here to JC. JC's got to come with the question to JC. JC has to go to the clerk's office. All right? That prevents any sunshine violation. So I am the liaison for the police department and the commission. I don't run the police department. I'm the liaison between the police department and the commission. Therefore, my job is to oversee everything in the police department and bring it to the commission. The reason why I say this is several times you've wanted meetings to be involved with the police department. You can't. You can't because it's going to cause a third-party sunshine violation. And I know you don't understand the whole concept of the violation itself, but I said day one I would not go to jail for anybody up here, and I assure you I will not. Getting a violation like that is a criminal offense, and I will not go to jail for anyone in this place whatsoever. I will always do the right thing, all right? And when it comes to this, I hate this phrase that everybody in this town uses, stay in your lane. That's one. If you want, stay in your own lane. It's what everybody uses around this place, and I hate that phrase. But when it comes to the police department, if you have questions or concerns, you need to go to the town manager. The town manager will go to the police department or that way, or at the commission here, bring your questions in. Anything involving the police department, you can ask the questions, and we can have a discussion here in the public forum.
Well, I've actually had the police department reach out to me.
I know.
And ask me questions.
I know, and I explained to them, I explained to them as well, I explained to them as well, that can cause a third-party sunshine violation, okay? And personally, I don't want to get involved with the OIG. I've been involved with them since I got here because of all the issues here in town. My goal is 0 new OIG investigations for the town. May not sound like much to anybody else, but for me, that's a big deal coming from where this place was when I got here. So I want you to understand that's my goal. You need to focus and understand the clerk's office. In the clerk's office, you got the charter. Learn this thing inside out backwards. Florida Statute Part 119. That involves records, record retention. That involves all kinds of stuff that you need to know. That statute, you might want to write it down, Florida Statute 119. Go through, learn it, read it, because I got a crash course in it when I got here. I got thrown into the clerk's office that looked like a bad case of hoarders. It was miserable and had to figure out our records, all right? So you're lucky that we have the clerk we have and her assistant that have, and her whole staff group that have got this place streamlined in the clerk's office. Because if you came into what we came into, ask them, they'll show you the pictures.
Yeah, Mona's been a great help, and her office has, both of them.
The pictures speak louder than words. And what we came into when we got here. But it's something you need to be aware of. I'm not going to get involved with any sunshine issues whatsoever. So just want to make you aware. Go to 20, town clerk's comments, newsletter.
I wanted to actually bring a couple of things to your attention. First of all, I was very happy and excited when I got, am I not?
We can't hear you. Please pull the microphone closer and speak louder. Thank you. Thank you.
Not fair.
Now we can all go.
Can you hear me now?
No.
Can you hear me now? All right, guys. You know, I was really happy with this this edition. I was so excited, except I made a little mistake.
Little?
Very little, sir. At the very top, instead of putting the 2023 election, I put the 2024 election. And then my ADD, I went ahead and transposed the telephone number. That being said, my apologies. But every time you make a mistake, you also have to come up with an option and fix it. So what I did was I went ahead and I recreated the page that I made the mistake on. And we've gone ahead and attached it to all the ones that I have. I can't change what's already been out there, but I did want to let you know that I acknowledged that I made a mistake and that I looked for an option to fix it. In addition to that, Mayor, based on you handing out your flyer, I did receive numerous phone calls about the position.
Okay.
They were just a little confused because they thought it was a job. Like, I'm gonna come in, let me fill out the application, I got the job. So I had to explain that they needed to run.
Why it says election.
I understand, sir, but that's.
I won't say the comment you know I want to say.
So that being said, just so you know, by law, by our charter, by our ordinance, I do have to advertise prior to the meeting. prior to the election. I have already contacted the elections office, and they are working on giving me the dates for when somebody applies, and then when they have to send in their treasurer's report and all that wonderful stuff. So I have already started working on it. Susie and myself have been working on putting together a packet for the upcoming election. And in addition to that, I also had spoken to our manager because we talked about actually turning this into a 5x7. And when you mentioned to me about the charter, I went into it, and at the bottom of it, just so you know, right on that section of section 9.
Yep.
It states at the very bottom that there's 4 qualifications that the person needs to have. The first one is that they have to be a permanent resident of the town for more than 1 year prior to the date of election.
Yes.
So that was something that one of the people asked me that question because she came in at the end of March. Our election is scheduled for March 14th.
So it has to be 1 year prior to March 14th.
Exactly. So that person wouldn't qualify because she said she came in at the end of March.
Right.
But at that time, I wasn't aware of this. And then the second thing is you have to be a registered voter. The third thing is that you
18
must
years of
be
age.
I'm so sorry.
18 years of age.
Yes, sir. A citizen of the state of Florida and the United States of America, and to be over the age of 18. So when we redo, which that's what I'd like to do, I would like to redo this flyer, and I'm going to put in those qualifications to make sure. But again, this is just another thing that I'm going to
I have them written in there.
Okay,
and
cool. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get us again, like I said, like a 5x7 postcard that then we'll be sending out again to encourage residents to run. And again, my apologies on this. I still think it came out to be a really beautiful newsletter, and we all make mistakes, and I'm the first one to admit when I make one, so I do apologize for that. And that would be it, sir.
All right. Town manager comments. I'm sorry, town attorney.
The commission probably would like to know what happened to the 2 young people who stole the golf cart. The commission had voted to ask the state to drop the charges in exchange for community service here in the town. Mr. Jamari Paul did perform that community service. Mr. Santana unfortunately left the state. State ended up dropping the charges against Mr. Paul. A and B recycling, Miguel and I were able to, well, Miguel mostly, I went with him, to the Unsafe Structures Board, and there was an order entered requiring A and B recycling to perform certain measures within a very short amount of time, including removing items. You okay over there, guys?
She's overheating. I told you it was going to happen. The moment you touched the thermostat, someone was going to overheat, Rob. She's over there fanning herself, overheating.
So anyway, there hopefully there is, we will see some improvement in regard to A and B recycling. We still have permission from the commission to foreclose on A and B. We decided that we would see what effect the Unsafe Structures Board order had on A and B before we resorted to the foreclosure. We have a Charter Review Committee meeting coming up, as I discussed earlier. Good news on the Waste Connection / progressive settlement. We are inching forward. Not only have the unsafe conditions, I think that they are making progress with regard to the unsafe conditions that Miguel, the building official, cited them for, and they're making progress on those, but they've also made progress on their site plan, and hopefully that settlement will finish, and we will be done with that and get the money that is owed to us in the settlement. There was a visit to Lake Shore Mobile Home Park this week, which I think was productive for many reasons, but most importantly, I've been discussing with code and building the issue with regard to mobile home park owners and their, in some parks, lack of oversight as to the construction that is going on by the mobile home owners. And so I think we have decided, and I discussed with Lucy and Jocelyn, and I think Miguel was there, about writing a provision to hold mobile home park owners responsible for poor conditions in the park, and also making sure that the mobile home owners do not construct into the setback, do not build where they're not supposed to be building, etc. So I think that was, while we still have issues at Lakeshore and various other mobile home parks, I think that that was a good, it was an eye-opening site visit, I think, for the attorney for Lakeshore as well. And I think that's it for attorney comments. I do want to say thank you to Miguel for getting on the Waste Connections, because I think it's helped move them along significantly in the with regard to that building and the conditions of that building. And that's it.
Anything else?
Nope.
Any questions?
Yeah, has Coca-Cola ever complained about the people building right up on top of their property and everything, right on that property line and everything like that? Have they ever made an issue? They've never made an issue of it? I'm surprised.
Not to my knowledge, but really building and code enforcement would be better people to ask.
Excuse me. Good evening, Miguel Nunez, building official, Mayor, Commissioner. We have multiple communications with Coca-Cola, and they are aware about the areas that they were building in outside or other mobile homes in their land. And now that the Lakeside Mobile Home RV Park, let's call it the way it is planned to have additional type of occupancy on that particular land, they are planned to recoup their land. I mean, they're gonna build, they were talking to build a fence to recoup the land and then let the Lakeside Trinity owners to build on their own parcels.
Let them deal with it.
Exactly.
Good. Good. I'm glad they're doing that.
Yeah, they are.
Thank you.
Thanks, Miguel.
Town manager comments.
Just one comment, sir. As you know, you and I met with our finance director, Roy, today to go over the proposed budget for the upcoming year. Deidre sent out emails to the rest of the commission. Those are being scheduled right now. I believe you tomorrow one, and I'm scheduling one with with Vice Mayor DeVille.
Just so you know, I brought in some more suggestions that you and Roy can discuss in the morning. Call me. I'll come in. I get a flight tomorrow.
Will do.
So if you need me, it's got to be early.
Okay.
All right.
Will do.
So see if those can work.
Okay.
All right.
And that's all I wanted to say.
All right. Commissioner comments. Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins.
No, I'm all set. Thank you.
Vice Mayor DeVille. He's been crickets all evening. All right. I got a couple things. One, our 14-year-old who was voluntold this summer and spent a few hours of community service, his aunt sent us email to the town, and I'm going to read it. John Quincy Adams once said, If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. The actions of both Mayor Jeffrey Jacobs and David Howard did just that for myself and my nephew. My nephew has been in my guardianship since he was 2 years old. His mother made some poor choices in life and was unable to adequately take care of him. Although she is present in his life, adequately take care of him, although she was present in his life. Sadly, he has never known his father. Consequently, the majority of his life, he has been raised by me, his single aunt. As his aunt, like any parent and guardian, I strive to instill in him good morals and values. However, he is a teenager and is a teen, coupled with predisposed trauma from both parents. He is prone to peer pressure and influence. As a result, he made a poor decision that warranted a minoring consequences. My nephew. So she wanted to send a thank you for what happened. I'd also like to share the fact that I got approached by one of our detectives from BSO who reviewed the incident that happened. He also stated that, Mayor, he goes, you did the right thing with that kid. He goes, I watched the video. He goes, you made a good choice. This is what community policing is about. This is how our department's going to run. It's for the community and by the community. So I think we made a real good decision there. So
It was a feel-good moment there, huh?
yeah, he got a talking to, I think, from everyone, including my wife. So, and that's the last person anyone wants to piss off. So, but she's a nice lady. I have to say that. So, anyways, I also, just so you know, attended the Florida League of Mayors and the Florida League of Cities, running in and out between commission meetings and food drives and everything else within a matter of a week. It was a pretty crazy and hectic week. In the process, I was reelected to the Board of Mayors. So I'm going to just read the letter real quick. Dear Mayor Jacobs, congratulations on your reelection to the Board of Directors of the Florida League of Mayors. You have been elected to an at-large district to fill a 2-year term, which will end August of 2024. As always, I know we cannot count on, or as always, we know we can count on you as we continue to strive to make Florida League of Mayors an important voice for the state and municipal affairs. We look forward to scheduling events as well as in the next Florida League of Mayors Board of Directors meeting in the near future. We have that meeting coming up, so I just scheduled it. These are resources, the Florida League of Cities, Florida League of Mayors, Broward League of Cities, that we have. The Florida League of Cities has all the classes you can take, and I do believe that's coming up November. Later this year, it's up in Orlando. Make sure you attend and get in the classes. The classes are not just classes to learn of how to run and do your job here, but the classes are more for how to better your community. And there are more resources available than you can even communicate with. Because once you go and you put your name in the hat, the phone doesn't stop. So I highly recommend getting involved and going to those because we pay for that for all the commission. Let's see here.
I've already signed up for mine.
Okay. In closing, I want to add this for one more thing. Last two items I have here. Actually, I'll just go with the one. In closing, I just want people to understand I don't have friends here. I don't know people here. I don't associate with people here. This is my business. This is my work. These are professional relationships I have. I want you to be clear about that because if anyone says I have friends outside of here, I don't. My life consists of my kids, my hockey, and my career. So, and my kids' hockey. You know how kids' sports go. They never end, especially travel, right? I'll pay $600 for a baseball bat. I'll trade you some hockey pads. All right. Anyways, I wanted to make that very clear. So here we go with announcements. 24.1 Charter Review Committee will be Monday, August 29th at 6 p.m. Regular commission meeting Wednesday, September 14th, 2022 at 7 p.m. First budget hearing Wednesday, September 14th, 2022 at 6 p.m. Regular commission meeting September 14th, 2022 at 7 p.m. Special magistrate hearing. Wednesday, September 21st, 2022 at 9 a.m. Second budget hearing Wednesday, September 28th at 5 p.m. Workshop commission meeting Wednesday, September 28th, 2022 at 6 p.m. So I have a quote I want to read. This is just my little spin on this quote that we're going to close with. And here it is. It said, nothing will kill the employees' morale faster than us tolerating a bad one. So I think that's pretty relevant to what we're dealing with here in town right now. So number 25, adjournment. Time is now 8:37